Hello, hola, tudo bem, como estás, konnichiwa, what it do? Thank you for listening to another episode of the J-Boy Sports Podcast. And what we are going to discuss today is Jeff Teague responding to something Anthony Mackie said. Now, just to give you a little bit of background here, Anthony Mackie went out and recently was doing his rounds as a part of, I guess, the Captain America tour. And he ended up on a couple of sports podcasts, and with one of the podcasts that he ended up on, he said something about basically not telling young men to work hard because it's not about working hard. It's more like who you know. And I remember hearing that myself, and I was like, man, I do not like that. And I actually like Anthony Mackie, but every once in a while, he just says some stuff that I'm like, bro, why? Why are you saying this? Because in the same interview, he said something about men being men and men are being, disshuffled and disarranged and not getting, not allowed to be men anymore. And I 1,000,000% agree with that. Men are being cut off at the ankles daily, all over the place. But telling men that it's not about how hard you work, it's about who you know, really drives me nuts. It really drives me nuts. And because I just in my own personal life, I used to work with a lot of kids as far as like teaching them and different things like that. And I never once in my mind, in my wildest dreams, thought I would tell a kid, and no matter how hard you work, it won't matter unless you meet the right person. That's crazy to me. Because, for many different reasons. But before I start doing all this talking, Jeff Teague in the 520 Club, I believe that's what his pod is called, him and his boys were talking about it, and Teague was discussing it. And I got to tell you, man, I got a lot of love and respect for Jeff Teague. First of all, he's a comedian. He's a daggone clown. The man is a clown. He's hilarious. And he's just being himself, just simply talking about life and the way he sees it is hilarious. It's hilarious. But he also is a real one. Like, I don't think he's ever, even if I disagree with something that he said, he doesn't sound paid to me. There's nothing phony about him. He's just keeping it real. He's saying what he feels. And I believe his boys are the same way. But, Teague's very likable, in my opinion. If he was somebody just hanging out, chilling somewhere, he's very likable. He doesn't want all the spotlight. He's very in the cut, hanging out, chilling. From what I've seen, he's just a cool dude. And he just acts normal and just lives his life. He's not trying to do anything outrageous. He really keeps it real. So let's listen to what he has to say in response to Anthony Mackie, basically saying that you don't have to work hard because, well, I don't know if he said you don't have to work hard, but he basically said, like, working hard doesn't matter as much because it's more about who you know. Which, again, I just don't think you could ever say that to a child or just a young man or any man or woman. So check this out.
I don't feel that, though. Shh. I don't feel that.
Man, in certain situations, we see a lot of nepotism playing into things, and a lot of things, like you said, some people get lucky enough to pass down to them. It always happens for people like us, no. But yes, you still have to work hard, of course, but I 1,000% agree. You see a lot of things passed down to people who work their ass off who never get them opportunities.
But the reason they was passed down because somebody in that position worked there, so to be able to pass it down.
That's true, but those same people don't always give opportunity as well, too. So you can work ass off to get there and never get the opportunity.
If I work off and I hand it to my son, I work ass off. Yeah, I'm gonna hand it to my son. Why not? He don't gotta work ass off because I did it. That's how I kind of work. But what I'm saying to him is like, even if you, and I'm me and I pass it to my son, but if you work hard and when that opportunity, if it ever comes, you prepare for it.
Mm-hmm. So just to take a quick break here real quick, I agree with what he said about as far as you need to work hard to be prepared for it. That's something I agree with strongly. However, I don't, and again, agree to disagree. We all have different ways we look at different things. I don't like the idea of just, I work my behind off, so I'm just going to give it to my kid. I actually have some friends that, we may not have always had the best relationships with our fathers, or maybe you didn't have a father growing up, or whatever the case may be. But a lot of the strong men that you were around, and most cases, you were around somebody else that had a strong father figure, and or a grandfather, and I just was not personally taught to just give things to people. Now, I was given things. Don't get it twisted. I've been given some things. And even though I don't feel like I'm the most gifted person ever with things, I feel like I was blessed to have enough. But I always had to work hard for those things. I remember one time my grandfather said to me, I got in trouble because my grades weren't as good as they should have been. And because my grades were not as good as they should have been, he got on me one day, and I was at his house. He came downstairs and he said to me, listen, you got one job. Do your job. I worry about the rest of it. I make sure that you're good in every other way. Do your job. And my job was to get my grades up. And I had good grades to that point. I just had a bad semester. I was slacking off, and he was like, there will be no slacking. And that work ethic is what I take with me everywhere I go. You know what I mean? Like so I'm with Teague, and he's going to go more into what he was just saying, how he doesn't agree with telling, especially, kids not to work hard. However, I'm sketchy about giving even my own kids something that they did not earn. You can give them advantages, but they still got to earn it. That's how I look at it. Everybody has to earn things. When people don't earn things, they never become as good as they could be. You will never become as great if your father was a great man, if your mother was a great woman, if your grandfather was a great man, your grandmother was a great woman. You will never be as great as they are if everybody gives you everything. You've got to have a work ethic to learn how to earn things. And yeah, maybe you have an easier path, but you can still earn it even within that path. I don't ever want to just give it away. Because I look at myself and how much I've accomplished and what I've worked hard for. I had to earn it. I had to become a better man. And if I was given things, I would not have had to work hard to earn, to understand, to learn, and different things like that. You gotta learn and earn, in my opinion. Let's continue.
You was prepared for it. Like, just because you didn't get picked, you want to be prepared for it.
I think that was the point, though. If the opportunity ever comes, it's very difficult for the person.
It's a lot of times the opportunity comes and kids don't be prepared for it.
I agree with that 100%. But I'm saying if there's two people, one has a good relationship with you, one has an okay relationship with you, the one that's okay is the better qualified person, you still give it to the person that has a good relationship with you.
Relationships is everything. It's more than money.
Yeah, I think that's the point more so than the hard work. But your relationship.
My biggest thing is like, don't tell because if I was a young kid listening to that and be like, it don't matter. You got to be picked. That's basically said, like, you're picked. Mm-hmm. Like, I ain't gonna work if you ain't about to pick me. What the fuck am I working for?
The way he sounded real. It sounded off, but like I feel like if you understand what he's saying, I think it's the relationship based.
Yeah, but he gotta explain that different because the people that watch that show are younger kids. Now I'm watching football. I'm watching these people I inspire. They inspire me. I look up to. And you just told me if I can work as hard as I want. If they don't pick me, it don't mean shit, and that's not true. Because you can work as hard as you want. You can work hard, keep doing it, keep striving, keep going, and somebody can see that. And it ain't that they gotta pick you. It might not be Jerry Rice picked you to be the best receiver.
And so we're gonna jump in real quick here. Again, I'm gonna tag in. And he said a couple of things that really make a lot of sense, that resonate with me as well. Opportunity comes, and dudes don't even be prepared for it, man, because you're too busy making excuses. And that's the thing. That's why I did not like this from Anthony Mackie. I actually hated it a little bit. And that doesn't mean that everything Anthony Mackie says is not good, because he has still said some good things. He even said some great things in this interview, like I said, about men and the struggles that we go through to provide and to take care and protect families. But opportunities come to those that are prepared. You can't, something comes up and then you're not prepared. You don't ever want that to be the case. You should learn that very early in life, especially as a man, that you miss 100% of the opportunities that you're not prepared for. Sports is a microcosm of life. Next man up. Somebody could get hurt at any time. And they're going to talk about that in this later on, and we'll discuss that a little bit more. But you got to be ready. Dudes ain't prepared because they lazy or they don't, or they want to quit or be depressed. Like, you don't have time for that, man. You got to be ready. And relationships are more than money. I do agree with that. A good relationship could take you over the moon. That's true. But you got to keep working until you get there, because once that relationship comes and you have an opportunity to prove yourself, if you've been working the whole time, then you're more than qualified. All you needed was the opportunity. What would suck is if you get the opportunity and you wasn't working the whole time, you can't even sustain the opportunity. We've seen that too. Think about a coach that gets a head coaching job. And once they get the job, they got to be ready to go. And if you're not good, the proof will be in the pudding. But if you've been working the whole time, waiting for an opportunity, you get the opportunity, you kill it. Nobody can stop you. And, you know, he was also saying, like, Jeff Teague is saying, like, it's like you're telling kids they got to be picked. That's not true. You know what I mean? You can work your way into a successful situation. Each way that people are successful is different. That's why it's hard for people to be able to straight up tell you what they did for you to be successful. That's why somebody can get on there and tell you, eat this, eat that, eat this. And it may work, it may not, because you're not them. Your success is in your own hands. You know, and you can't, and remember, kids are listening to this stuff. You can't be telling kids that are impressionable, oh, you don't have to work hard, because they won't. And if they don't, then what they become couch potatoes in the basement at their mom's crib. That's not good. And the last thing he kind of said in this section is someone else, you may not get picked by Jerry Rice to be the best receiver ever, but someone else may see your work. The first 5 coaches you have, the first 5 bosses you have may not believe in you, may not see your work. Maybe you're not really even ready for, and that's why they don't believe in you. But you keep putting in the work, you keep putting in the work, you keep putting in the work. And then maybe somebody else takes a chance on you, and then you're ready. You're finally ready for that opportunity. It's all about work. Very, very, very few people in this world are straight given things. And even when they are, a lot of times the kids are worse than the parents. A lot of kids are failures because they can't match the work ethic that their parents had. And the parents, you did a bad job of really putting that work ethic in your kids in some situations. How do you transfer that? That's the difficulty, right? Because you can't straight give it to them. How do you transfer your work ethics, your ability to learn, your ability to think on the fly? One way is to teach them hard work and not take shortcuts. Let's continue.
You could work hard, and somebody might just go down. The best receiver that they pick might tear his ACL. And you just might be the next man up. They ain't pick you. They didn't want you. Can pick.
No, I agree. You have to be prepared for the opportunity.
Yeah, Tom Brady wasn't
Everything's
picked.
situational. I mean, he got an opportunity because Kirk Herman.
Yeah, I wasn't picked. They ain't say. I mean, I got picked to go to the league, but to be successful in the NBA, I wasn't picked. That wasn't the guy at all. I didn't have the guy written on me at all.
It go both ways.
I think the counter to it is just like what he's saying is you can work off, and if you don't get what you want, it may not just because you didn't work hard enough. It's like you work off and still don't get opportunity.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people who work off and never get the opportunity.
I think it's more of those people who work really hard and don't get the opportunity.
Yeah,
because you gotta think the life that he's talking about is a very small window of people who get, like, to be an entertainer or athlete. It's a very small window.
for sure.
But the whole thing about working hard and doing all that shit, it can relate to something else. Like, the way you do anything is how you do everything. All right? So if you work hard at this, it might just translate to something else that you end up doing in your life. So to say, like, hey, you got to be picked. Yeah. In this world, you might have to look a certain way. You might have to meet certain requirements. But just to say, like, hey, you can work as hard as you want and it still might not be you. True. But that hard work might transfer to something else that you're doing in life that has nothing to do with what you were working that hard for. That's how I feel. So I ain't like that he said that.
Yo, man, Jeff Teague be spitting on the low. Like, I don't think, like I said, he's a clown. He's hilarious. But the truth is, if you really listen to the 520 podcast, they be dropping some gems on there. And Teague be at the head of that, man. Like, he be having some good ideas. My man is not, like, he's not stupid. And I think he grew up with his mom and his dad. So he's, like, grounded, man. And like I said, when I see him talk, he's very humble. He doesn't sound like a guy that was an all-star in the NBA, made a whole bunch of money, has an NBA championship. He doesn't sound like that to me. He just sounds like a normal dude looking at things from a logical perspective. And I think they're in Indiana or Indianapolis, which is in Indiana. So I think that's where they're from. And he's got that, like, small town vibe, man. And I appreciate everything he said. He said Tom Brady wasn't picked. Tom Brady wasn't picked. If you walked up to Tom Brady and said, hey, man, I was told I don't have to work hard. I'll just, opportunity comes when it comes. He would look at you and probably cuss you out. Tell you to get this mother out my face, man. That's probably what he would say. Tom Brady's not playing that. He don't want to hear that. Michael Jordan don't want to hear that. Kobe ain't with us no more, but if he was talking to Kobe, he don't want to hear that. They're not going to tolerate you saying, it's just going to happen for me. You kidding me? You have to grab opportunity by the throat and basically choke it out. And also, Teague, again, Teague has great awareness for a professional athlete. What do I mean by that? Athletes sometimes live in a world where they don't understand the life of people outside of their life. They don't understand what it's like for people that aren't millionaires, that weren't given a whole bunch of money to play a game or be an entertainer, or not just athletes, entertainers. Other people don't understand. Those people sometimes don't understand what the common man is going through. And he straight up said, listen, man. He said, listen, like, this whole idea here that it's a small window for people that are big time like that. And so for other things, you got to work hard. You got to work hard for opportunities. He said, I wasn't picked. I wasn't chosen. I wasn't, supposed to be the guy. And he also said another gem that I absolutely love. I'd love to put this on a t-shirt. The way you do anything is how you do everything. And I'm a firm believer in that. Everybody that knows me knows that's what I preach. I don't take shortcuts, even when I want to take shortcuts. When I want to cry, I say you need to cry to keep going. How you make your bed, how you cook your food, what you eat, why you eat what you eat. You need to be careful. I'm not saying I have the most chiseled six-pack of all time, but you could tell when you're getting a little bit bigger. You could tell when you need to cut back on some things that you're eating. Take care of yourself. How you do anything is how you do everything. The same energy. Try to give everything the same energy, whether you hate it or love it. And I know that's almost impossible, because the things you love, you're going to give it a lot more energy. Food that you like to eat, you're going to give it a lot more attention. You're going to want to, but that's where discipline comes in. And discipline is usually what helps people get opportunities that others don't qualify for, can't qualify for, can't earn. It's about being in the right position. And another thing, the last thing that he said that I want to touch on before we close this, we're getting ready to close it out because we just got one more snippet. But he said, it might just translate to something else in your life. The opportunity that you wanted may not be the one that you get. And if you're trying to be a professional athlete, for example, because this is a sports channel, and maybe that doesn't happen for you, it may not happen for you. Like you said, it's a small window. But that same work ethic that you brought to whatever your sport is can translate into another blessing. Maybe your gift was in something else. I've always thought that I could speak well and that I could put ideas together well, and I just never really could figure out how to do it. And now I started this podcast. Who knows? It may be nothing. It may be something. But all the work that I put in and every other thing that I've done to hone in all my skills, my discipline here, my discipline there, my ability to edit things, whatever it may be, all my disciplines have led me to this point now. And hopefully I could take advantage of the opportunity. Hopefully I'm one big break away from something blowing up and my channel taking off, and now I'm making a good living just off of this, doing what I love to do, which is talk about sports and life and messages that are positive and good for us and examples that are good for us. But I won't know unless I put the work in. But I've done other things. I've done a lot of other things, and I gave it my energy. I gave it my all. And sometimes you got to move on from that, move on to the next opportunity. But you learn everywhere you go, and you practice everywhere you go, and you have great work ethic everywhere you go and everything you touch. So it may translate to something else. You can't tell kids not to work hard, Mr. Mackie, respectfully, you can't tell him not to work hard because you don't know what that translates to. I'd rather a kid work his absolute buttocks off than sit back and wait for something to happen. The world is full of people that sat back and waited for something to happen. And a lot of them are probably not doing well right now. But the go-getters, the people that don't give up, the people that search for opportunities, that work hard, we may not be the richest, we may not be the wealthiest, we may not be the most famous. I don't want fame, to be honest with you. I'll take money. It's not my God, but I'll take it. But I don't really even want fame personally. A lot of headaches. But you work hard to be something. You don't have to be the number one of everything all the time, but you work hard to be something, to make a good living, to be a respectable human being. So let's close this out. Let's listen to his last bit of advice here from the great Jeffrey Teague. Dropping gems, man. We got to start giving Jeff Teague his flowers. This man is on to something.
You just probably heard it. That's a young dude out here probably going hard as hell, ain't got an offer yet. And he probably just heard that and was like, yeah, I just ain't picked. I know I'm better. I know I'm working hard. Look, I just ain't picked.
And kids are slipping to a depression. Like
Yeah,
that
you
too.
know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, they just ain't picked me, or that's why I'm not a chosen one. They ain't, and then that's not true though.
No, I agree with that. I just think he probably could have went more in depth with it and explained his
Have
point.
to when you make a
that much
statement like that,
yeah,
especially when you're
I'm with
Captain
you.
America.
I'm with you.
Like, you know what I mean?
That's a true
Yeah,
point.
you know what I mean? Especially when you're Captain
Which
America.
is, have you seen that
People
movie?
look at your opinion way different. than
But that's
their
also
own
why he's
motherfucker.
saying that now. He would not have said this 2 years ago.
And so, man, these dudes are funny, man. On the way out, they basically was like, yo, like, you can't be saying that if you Captain America. And he's right, man. Like, come on, Mackie. You're better than that, my brother. You're a great actor. Man, I think Anthony Mackie is a great actor. But sometimes I think he lets himself, his brain get the best of him. We all have crazy thoughts. I'm not going to call you crazy, my brother, but we all have intrusive and little out there type of thoughts. And I think this one you let go. You even said it. Like, I think he said, like when he was saying it, that it just came to his head. And he's just saying it now. Like, sometimes let that cook a little bit, man, inside before you let it outside. Put it in the stove and put some seasoning on it. Let it marinate a little bit and see what happens when you open the stove. Got to be careful, man. But, you're Captain America. You can't just be telling kids not to work hard. Captain America is that's literally Captain America. He's like almost he's a Batman type where it's not about the superpowers. I know he got the serum, but he's not out here punching holes through buildings and throwing dudes into space like the Hulk. Like, he's got to have some character to him. He's got to have a work ethic. And even in the movies, before Anthony Mackie took it over, like, Captain America was the voice of reason, telling Tony Stark about how selfish you are and how you need to learn to work as a team. And like, he was the voice of reason. He was the one telling people the right way to do things, because it's easy to get corrupted. But Captain America is supposed to be beyond corruption. He's not even from this time period, and that's one of the reasons that he's beyond corruption. Because in our time period today, it's easy to be corrupted. We're so much more susceptible to nonsense. Because the old ways, people are trying to run from that. They want to be progressive and all that stuff. But, what do we look like telling kids not to work hard? The day we really live and die by that is the day that society will end. Like a lot of the other bad ideas out here that it's seemingly people are starting to fight back against because it's killing us. It's killing society. So please, I admonish all of you out there, please don't tell kids not to work hard. Please. Especially kids that, if you look at the demographics, the demographic of kids that look like Anthony Mackie and Jeff Teague, you can't tell them not to work, man. They got to work. They got to become something. Some of them are from urban areas where nothing around you is good. You got to want to get out of that situation. You got to want better for yourself. If you don't, you're not going to make it. Don't be a statistic. Be an exception. But in everything, not just being an athlete, not just being an entertainer, not just being a comedian or whatever else, where they make a lot of quick money once they get to the top. Not saying those people don't work hard, but that's a small percentage. You could be other things. Your work ethic can translate to other things. So don't quit, don't give up, and don't ever stop working hard. Jeff Teague, my brother, truly appreciate you. Anthony Mackie, still appreciate you, man. Looking forward to new work. But just be careful, Anthony, please. I hope you hear this video one day, Mr. Mackie. Think about it. Think about what the influence is on the kids when you say stuff like that. You sound like a great father, but everybody don't have that. They need other reasons to keep going. They need to work hard and not give up, not quit, not be depressed. So please like, share, and subscribe to this. I appreciate your time. I'm very humble. Appreciate that I was able to use Jeff Teague's and his crew 520, use a clip from their video. Very thankful that I was able to use, some of what Mr. Mackie said, and hopefully, he can think about this a little bit more. Please also take a look at other videos that are on my channel. If you wait to the end of the video, it'll give you suggestions that you can check out, whether it's my channel or it'll give credit to the channels that I used to create this video. Thank you very much. Much love.